It's no secret that things have got a bit too expensive in GTA Online. I mean, remember back when the game launched and the most expensive car in the game was the Hydra for $1 million? Whereas nowadays, Rockstar Games just drops $2 million cars out of nowhere and they're absolutely trash. Yeah, it's gotten expensive, and this list today goes over the 17 most expensive items in the game currently as of 2022. Huge shout out to GameRant for the article. If you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be awesome. Subscribe for more stuff like this, and let's go. At number 17 is the Cerberus for $3.87 million, and a lot of you new players are probably thinking, the what? And that's because the Cerberus is an arena war vehicle, and you don't really see these too often in Los Santos. Now, it should be noted that this $3.8 million price tag is only for the buy it now price. The trade price is under $3 million, but even then, is this worth it? Well, the answer's no. It can do some cool things, like it can jump in the air, it's got flamethrowers, it looks pretty cool, but overall it's not worth it. It's slow, it can't tank many rockets, and overall it's just gonna get outclassed by pretty much every other vehicle in the game. So this is one you're probably gonna wanna stay away from. At number 17, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of this vehicle before, the Oppressor Mark II. I don't know, what's that? The buy it now price for this one is $3.89 million, meaning it's the 16th most expensive item in the game, and for a long time, that was definitely worth it. You could honestly still argue that this is kinda worth the price, especially considering the buy it now price is $3.89, but the trade price for this one is just $2.91 million. Even though this copped a hefty nerf to the rockets and the countermeasures recently in 2022, this is still one of the best vehicles in the game for grinding because you can call it right next to you wherever you want and take off and fly across the map. It does seem kinda strange that a vehicle this expensive could actually be worth the cost, but this is one of those rare situations where this might just be one. At number 15 is the Hydra at $3.99 million. There are a lot of jets in GTA Online, and it can be really confusing to figure out which one's for you. And honestly, for the majority of players, that's probably going to be none of them, but there is a really big dogfight community in GTA Online. In almost every lobby, you're gonna see one or two people flying around in jets, having dogfights, trying to kill some people maybe, who knows. And those are the people that this is targeted towards. Still in 2022, the Hydra is a really solid option, and a lot of people say it's their favorite jet. So if you want to terrorize your lobbies with some jets, this could be a solid option. At 14 is the Maze Bank Tower CEO office for $4 million on the dot. And still in 2022, this is the single most expensive property in all of the game. Now, the question, is this worth the money, is really subjective. I mean, for functionality, no. Because you can get another CEO office 1 minute down the road that's gonna do the exact same thing. However, if we're talking about the status, to say you own the Maze Bank Tower, is that worth $4 million? For a lot of people, the answer is going to be yes. For years, people had wanted to buy the Maze Bank Tower, and finally in 2016, Rockstar said, okay, here you go, $4 million if you want it. And $4 million in 2016 was a lot of money. It's still a fair bit of money now, but it's a lot easier to get now than it was back 6 years ago in 2016. At number 13 is the Hunter attack helicopter for $4.123 million. This is the helicopter you're gonna see a lot of griefers flying around in because this is an absolute beast. There's honestly not too many bad things I can say about this other than the price. Like, it's expensive, but other than that, this is an incredible helicopter. Good handling, great weapons, both a missile barrage and homing rockets. Plus, it's literally an Apache helicopter, which is pretty sick. That's a really expensive price tag, but I can almost justify it because of how cool it is. At number 12 at $4.35 million is the Alkonost. And this is technically, I believe, if we're going from wing to wing, the largest aircraft in the game. I guess when Rockstar implemented this into the game with the Cayo Perico heist, they were charging us for every square meter here. Because other than its size, there's nothing really redeeming about this one. It's not very good. In my opinion, the one redeeming quality about this jet is the stealth mode. If you fly really high, above 2,000 feet, you're gonna be off the radar. But that's kind of a unique situation. Not many people are flying that high on a day-to-day basis. And if you're looking to go off the radar, there's a lot of other options you could use, whether it's the Akula, calling Lester for $1,000, using a CEO to go off the radar. There's just a lot of other better options, and those options aren't $4.35 million. Still a cool looking aircraft though. Anyway, moving on to number 11, we have the Pyro for $4.455 million. It's definitely not the best plane in the game, but what it is a cool looking one. It's the only jet in the game that looks like this, so it's got that going for it, but overall it's got pretty decent agility. You can land it pretty much anywhere, it's pretty easy to land, and it's got a lot of potential for you to make some memes as well, considering you can bump off the entire back wing, and then it looks pretty silly. Into the top 10, we have the Ramjet for $4.628 million, and this vehicle is a lot of fun. Over the years, we've just seen so many insane stunts done with this car that it almost makes it worth the price. Almost. See, this vehicle isn't actually going to help you get much stuff done. This is only a vehicle you're going to want to buy once you have everything you want and you're just trying to have fun. So for grinders, this definitely isn't worth it, but if you're bored and you want some fun, this definitely is worth it. Using this vehicle's jump and jet boosters to try and get in some crazy spots, you can honestly get lost doing that for hours. Personally, I try and land it on the Maze Bank Tower a lot and fail, pretty much all of the time, but hey, it's still fun. So technically this one's probably not worth the money, but if you're absolutely rich, maybe pick this one up. At number 9, we don't just have a car with jet boosters, we have a car that can straight up just fly. It's the Deluxo for $4.721 million. This, of course, is a direct reference to Back to the Future. This is the DeLorean, if you couldn't tell. And not only can it fly, it's also got homing missiles. When this first came into GTA Online, every single griefer was using this one until the Oppressor Mark II came in, and it was essentially the same thing, just a bike, meaning it's a lot easier to drive around, fly around, you can spawn it next to you. It just outclassed this vehicle in every single way. And even with the nerf, I still really only see people using the Oppressor Mark II, which is kind of a shame because this is a pretty cool car. At number 8 is the Molotok Jet for $4.788 million. This is a pretty small jet and one of the most agile in the game. It's a lot of fun to fly around. When it comes to dogfighting, it can be hit or miss depending on the player. I've seen some players taking out lasers with this thing, and I've seen some people playing absolutely terribly with it, mainly me. The general consensus in the community is this is the easiest jet in the game to land, meaning a lot of people will find some use for this vehicle at least. Is it worth $4.788 million though? For most players, probably not. At number 7, we have the Swift Deluxe for $5.15 million. What's so great about this vehicle? Well, the fact that it's gold. Other than that, it's exactly the same as the Swift, which is $1.5 million. So essentially, you're paying $3.5 million for a gold paint job and the status of flying this helicopter around. No, like seriously, that's it. This helicopter does nothing better than almost any other helicopter in the game, except for the fact that it's gold and you can drink champagne in the back of it. That is genuinely it. I do have to admit though, it is pretty fun having some drinks in the back of this helicopter and then trying to parachute down back to land. Other than that though, no, this is not worth the price. At number 6 is the Tula for $5.173 million. Have you ever said to yourself, I want a plane that's not only a plane, but also a helicopter and also a boat? No? You've never said that. Okay, well for the one person that said that, this is the vehicle for you because it can do all of those things. Now, can it do any of those things well? No, I mean, it's a slow plane, it's a slow helicopter, and it's a really slow boat. But, I mean, if there's a situation where maybe you need to do all three in a very short sequence of time, this is the vehicle. And yeah, I mean, that's never gonna happen, so is this worth it? No. Coming in at number 5 at $5.745 million is the Ruiner 2000. You may have seen this one around, this is the parachute car. Other than the occasional cool clip of using a parachute, there's really nothing else redeeming about the Ruiner 2000. It can't take many rockets, it can only shoot 8 rockets, that's all it's got, and you can actually just spawn one of these in for free with the fully loaded CEO mission anyway, and that one can shoot infinite rockets and is almost invincible. So this vehicle, for that price tag, definitely one you're gonna want to stay away from. At number 4 at $5.918 million is the Bombushka plane. And this thing is absolutely huge. Now in theory this should be a very, very good aircraft. because, I mean, it's an AC-130, but unfortunately, the weapons you can get on it are pretty underwhelming. You can get a top-mounted 50 cal, or you can get a front-loaded cannon, but unfortunately, it just doesn't come close to dealing the type of destruction that you would expect an AC-130 to be able to do. Like, imagine if you could get some AC-130 weapons on here, you get 6 of your friends in there, and you just terrorize some lobbies. That would be a lot of fun. But unfortunately, that's just not the case, and for most players, this isn't worth the price. At number 3, we have the laser for $6.5 million. Yeah, that's a lot of money for a jet. And that means we have the age-old question. Is it worth paying $6.5 million for this one, or should you just steal it from Fort Zancudo? And that's going to vary from player to player. This is a very similar jet to the Hydra. They both do very similar things. They even look pretty similar. So a lot of players have already bought a Hydra and then they choose to just steal a laser when they want to use a laser instead. When compared to the Hydra though, the laser does have a bit better agility, a bit better maneuverability, and I think that's why most players choose it instead of the Hydra. That price tag though, oof, that's a lot. At number 2 is the Aquarius Super Yacht for $8 million. And really, we can use all of the yachts here. All of them should have made this list, but we're just going to compile them all together, with the Aquarius being the most expensive for $8 million. When Rockstar added the yachts into the game, it was because everyone had so much money and not anything to spend it on. So Rockstar added some really expensive items for people to blow all of their money on, and this is what we got. The answer to the question, is this worth it, is definitely no. The only reason you would ever want to buy one of these is for the status, so you can flex on your friends. Other than that, there's nothing this really offers other than a cool place to sit in and a really terrible way to make money as well. That's right, there are some missions that you can start with the Super Yacht, but none of them pay anything close to making it worth it. Yeah, these pay the same or even less than most contact missions in the game. So if you're trying to make money, this is definitely not worth it. If you're there for the status though, hey, maybe you got $8 million you just want to blow. This is something you can do it on. And at number 1, coming in at $10 million, the most expensive item in the game is the Luxor Deluxe plane. Now, a few spots back, we went over the Swift Deluxe, and the Luxor Deluxe is essentially the same thing, just a plane version instead of a helicopter. Yeah, there are no redeeming qualities about this vehicle except for the fact that it is gold. And if you want a gold plane, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money to flex that. This plane doesn't even have weapons, it's not very agile, it's not very quick. It's gonna get blown up in one shot. Yeah, there's honestly nothing redeeming about this. It's also funny because you can just buy the normal Luxor for $1.5 million and you can actually make that look gold as well with a paint job, which kind of makes this completely useless. But anyway, it has been the number 1 most expensive item in the game for years now, and it's just the biggest meme, everyone knows it, and I don't see Rockstar introducing anything more expensive anytime soon, although that would be pretty funny if they did. And those are the 17 most expensive items in Grand Theft Auto Online. So if you enjoyed this video, a thumbs up would be awesome. Subscribe for more stuff like this. I hope you stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Boys!
Favorite color, money green. Paper. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade.